You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
One, and we are
nice
live.
now.
Hello, friends. You're listening to the Friends of Sam Prendergast podcast. How you doing? Are you ready?
As you started that sentence, I thought, oh, he's full of beans. I wonder what he's going to say. He's got some tricks up his sleeve
2 hours of pure Sam Prendergast talk.
with some Ross Byrne thrown in.
Your number one spot for Irish 10 talk. I'm here with
Can I
Frank.
leave?
Frank the Tank.
Wait, this is my house. You get the fuck out.
You just leave. And just the most exclusive place to get your Irish 10 talk.
Maybe the only place.
The only place.
Yeah, even off the ball, don't cover him this much.
No. So, Frank, how you been?
Our senior men's team in our rugby club won a game of rugby,
Won a game.
and the atmosphere was incredible in
Yes.
the changing room after. Singing on the bench, we were playing the Venga boys. We were having a good old time.
When I saw the video,
Yeah,
I was so jealous.
it was a
I
very
was-
fun time.
Super happy to see that.
Yeah,
I was also I had so much FOMO.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, it was one of those videos. You could have watched it of any club ever and gone, I want to be in that room.
Yes.
You know? We were banging on the walls, singing,
Yeah.
music was going. It was great.
I loved seeing that. I just love seeing a celebration,
Yeah. Yeah.
good club vibes.
Yeah, right. It felt grassroots, good
Mhm.
times. Yeah. So I was living off that all weekend, really.
It's nice to see our team not be filled with 35 plus year olds.
It is.
Like all those young kids.
Yeah, we've got a fresh
And they have
crop.
they all have awful attitudes,
Yeah.
bad work ethic,
Yeah.
but it's good to see them there.
Yeah. Do you know what? They all played well.
Yes, they
They
do. They
did.
play well,
They do.
right? They're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm good. I don't really have to work hard on
Yeah.
anything.
Not a single one of them goes to the gym.
No, drives you fucking crazy
Yeah, but they're good boys.
to be 21 again.
Oh, I know.
But in rugby news,
In rugby news, we're sort of in a liminal space of the end of seasons.
except
time.
for top 14, I think they keep playing. I think their season final is in 2027.
Right, but if we covered that, we'd be excited for it. If we watched, I wouldn't mind watching more French rugby, but I just don't. I've got enough rugby in my life.
It's not accessible.
It's
It's
expensive.
the least accessible leagues.
In Canada, for context.
in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just a hard league to. No one covers it. I even have like an illegal, like backdoor, like streaming service
Yeah.
that I pay for
Yeah.
that has everything
Except top 14.
except top 14.
Yeah, and it has literally everything else.
It
doesn't
has everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even like random internationals. Like if Paraguay play Uganda,
Yeah.
like I got that game.
Yeah.
I could watch that game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in a weird way. This is going to be the most fucked up I've ever said about me and my Celtic brothers, but the fact that we all speak English, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales,
Mm-hmm.
the English should be grateful for that, and the South Africans, because the reason French rugby is less accessible, as good as it is, it's the language barrier as well.
100%.
Because I bet you there's a lot of great YouTube content or whatever that's just in French. And
There's probably a whole ecosystem of rugby talk and
Yeah.
media
yeah, of course there is.
that we just
yeah,
don't know about because of the language barrier.
of course there is. Of course there is. And French rugby is the only country in the world with, they've nearly got 3 professional leagues there with a lot of money in it.
Mm-hmm.
France might be now the biggest rugby country in the world.
Is
that controversial?
No, I don't think that's controversial.
Maybe South Africa definitely South Africa in terms of players.
South Africa definitely, in participation,
Yeah.
that is the
You'd
place.
say New Zealand in terms of the most fans per capita. Like
Yes.
the amount of people who like rugby in New Zealand is probably the highest.
Mhm.
But France in terms of the money, the crowd attendances has got to be the best, doesn't it? So we're missing out, is what I'm saying. We're missing out.
Yeah, well, I still got a lot of rugby in this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't.
I watched the Prem final, URC final,
Yeah.
and then I came and watched the women play.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
had a bad night. I lost a bunch of money in playing slots online. And then the Oilers lost.
And then the Oilers shit the bed.
They shit the bed.
Yeah, they did. So we're not happy
But-
about that. But we don't worry about that right now, do we?
we don't talk about that
No.
on the Friends
No.
of Rugby podcast.
Don't worry about that. It was icy sports.
We talk about the drama,
Yeah, we do.
super sour coaches,
Yeah, like
YouTube stars doing anthems at fucking games.
someone whose name rhymes with bake shite is not happy that his team lost.
Do you want to talk about the Prem final first?
I do actually, because it was a better game. No disrespect to Leinster. Some disrespect to Bulls.
I'll agree with you. Yeah.
It's a better game, and it had a very controversial moment at the end where Dan Cole charged down a Finn Russell kick and kind
we'll
of
talk about
clattered
that,
into
yeah.
him. I'm going straight in. Here we
You're going
go.
right into that?
Here we go. Yeah. And it was one of the stupidest cards I've seen in a long time.
It was the softest card.
Yeah.
And it's like his last game.
Yeah. How many
First of all,
tackles?
if you were going to give Dan Coles a card,
Yeah.
you give him a card for sprinting.
Yeah. Yeah.
When have you ever seen Dan
Yeah.
Coles sprint full speed
Yeah.
at someone ever?
No, I haven't. But here's the
That's
thing.
the card. That's the violation right there.
And I've actually seen him do more athletic backsy stuff in the last 6 months.
He's
than
going all
ever
out.
Yeah, 'cause
He's going all out.
I saw him absolutely hoof the ball a few weeks ago, and now he's doing this crazy charge down. You know, if that was, you can't take someone out in the air by the letter of the law, but how many off the ball tackles do you see? And that wasn't even a tackle. He just clattered into him because he was landing, trying to charge down a kick. He had no intention of touching him.
That card, that call, that play was basically the game wrapped in one package.
Yeah.
That was basically what happened throughout the whole game. If you were a Leicester fan,
Yeah, I'd be livid.
you would be. I would
Yeah.
be fucking losing
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
You know who was losing his mind is Michael Checa.
Of course he was.
He was
Yeah.
fucking losing it. And the TV, like the networks,
Yeah.
didn't spare any moment to show it. He went up to Brian O'Driscoll and he just
Yeah.
started like yelling in his ear. He was like down by halftime.
Yeah.
And he's just like screaming in his ear.
And poor old Brian.
And then he just storms away and
Yeah.
Brian O'Driscoll just starts laughing.
Yeah.
Like it was just
yeah.
the game.
But a 2-point loss as well. So
Yes, it was a 2-point loss.
I don't want to say it changed the outcome.
No, I
but
don't think it changed the
it would
outcome.
just upset me a lot if I was a Leicester fan.
Watching the game, you could tell right away Bath just had more tools in their toolbox.
They did, yeah.
Leicester were just lacking in like execution. They just couldn't complete things, and then there were just some really bad calls put against them.
Yeah.
Just bad call. It was
It had Champions Cup final feeling because from the minute one...
well, it had Super Bowl feeling with
Yeah.
that fucking anthem.
Oh, okay. Well, let's one thing at a time here, because we can definitely talk about the anthem, which you just showed me this morning, which was kind of funny. But yeah, Champions Cup final, Northampton felt like they were always going to lose that game, but in that game, from minute one, they had like 3 injuries in the first 6 minutes, a couple of dodgy ref decisions, and all the advantages they needed were immediately snatched away from them. The luck was just taken away from them. They needed luck. Leicester needed a bit of luck, and same feeling for me. Just nothing went their way. Bath controlled it. Good for them. They played better. I thought Bath deserved to win, definitely. But Leicester just didn't have the luck either, And that card it was too late, really, but it summarized the feeling of the game for me. It was like, oh, yeah, of course that happened, yeah.
Some surprising things from this game. I always forget how physical Finn Russell is.
He's not a scared.
He's not.
No, he's a brave man,
Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah.
He gets ran over,
Yeah.
but he does his job.
And he does it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
He loves taking a hit. Doesn't
he
care,
does.
does he? Takes it right up to the line.
Also, watch this game too. Like collapsing a maul and getting a penalty, I think is. I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but it should be a penalty try.
It sometimes is, right?
It rewards the defensive team to cheat.
Yeah.
Just to get a penalty.
Yeah.
Like this should be this is a try. If you
Yeah.
guys didn't collapse it, it would have went through.
Yeah, I agree.
It should be a penalty try. I don't know if that might lead to a lot of tries.
I'm in two minds about this because I remember when Exeter won the Premiership and they just scored 1,000 rolling maul tries and they were very good at it. There was a time where the rolling maul was almost undefendable because there was nothing you could do to stop it if it was within a certain range.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bit like a cheat code. So everyone would just kick for the corner, get a rolling maul going, and score a try. Because if you did anything wrong, and you shouldn't do anything wrong, obviously, you don't want to cheat, but there's nothing you can do to stop it, really. Like, once you get momentum. But I do agree with you. If you collapse it, that was a clear try-scoring opportunity. That guy was 2 meters away from the try line, and all he get out of it is 3 points when they were definitely going to score. Like, yeah, so...
It just kind of... The team I see do that the most, the All Blacks... If there's a maul against them, they'll just straight up collapse it. They'll rather take a penalty. They'll
yeah,
take
you would.
penalty
It's
after
smart.
They'll take
clever.
penalty after penalty after penalty.
Yeah.
And it's smart.
It is smart. Because why would you concede 7 when you could concede 3?
And I think they should punish that more because I do see like people like, oh, the maul's too hard to defend. But I see a lot of mauls defended.
And when someone successfully defends a maul, it's a very good feeling, isn't it? It's such a
example
psychological win.
Was the game afterwards.
Yeah.
Leinster versus Bulls.
Yeah.
So you want to see a successful maul defense?
Or just defense generally.
Yes.
Check Leinster out. Yeah. Definitely.
So
yeah.
it's not impossible. You just have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
I love them all.
I like it. Like, I don't want to... And the thing is, World Rugby this is one of the things I think they did well, was taking away the 2 stops.
Yes.
Right? The 1 stop is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you go backwards, why are you allowed to stop twice? Right? That doesn't happen in any other facet of the game. Momentum is king, right?
I think sometimes what I had when I was defending the 2 stop, because it's 1 right now, right?
Yeah. Which is poorly reffed, but that's another story.
Yeah. When you get into a mall, I don't know how many malls you've been in, but there's a setup.
Yeah.
You're getting in, you're starting to move forward, but you're still kind of setting it up.
Yeah.
So there is a point where you're probably going to stop.
Yeah.
And then but that's like you're basically just trying to get that mall together.
Yeah.
And then you can go forward.
Yeah.
Right? That's how the refs are reffing it though.
Yeah, it is.
So it is kind of you're still kind of getting that 2 stops.
Yes, you are. That's what I'm saying.
I was totally against the 1 stop rule.
Yeah.
But now how I see the refs reffing it,
Yeah.
I can accept it.
The advantage is still with the mauling team, and you do want to encourage attacking rugby. You do want to encourage try scoring. So yeah, I actually maybe I take it back. It's not poorly reffed, and maybe it is reffed with a little bit of leniency towards the attacking team.
Mm-hmm.
So they've only taken that away a little bit. Yeah, and I do like them all. And you're right, they're hard to set up. Like even coaching at our level of rugby, at the amateur level, it's rare, if ever, that we see a rolling maul try because it's fucking hard to secure your own ball and quickly get it into a strong position.
It is a hard thing to get into.
It's very hard to do.
It's very complicated to coach.
It's complicated to coach, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to really drill it. If you're going to have a good maul,
yeah.
If you're an amateur club and you're going to want to have a good maul, you have to like spend a practice.
Yeah, several.
And you have to spend, you have to at least hit it at practice.
You do, several times.
Yeah.
Because you have to know you're going to secure your own ball, which is hard enough. Because you lose possession 5 meters out, that's a perfectly good opportunity that any one of the outside players could have probably scored, right? So, yeah. So, I'm not taking anything away from it, and I don't want it to die. But
another thing that surprised me, Ben Youngs.
Yeah.
Looking a little chunky.
He's close to retirement.
I was like, he looks a little chunky there, Ben Youngs.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
He's going to hear this.
You think so?
Oh, he listens to the podcast.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't hear them mention us a couple times?
All right. Well, Ben Youngs, if you're listening, you're fat.
you fat fuck.
Says us. With our power guts.
But yeah, I want to talk about the anthem.
Okay.
Because the Premiership decided to like go full American.
Oh, gross.
And they got some like YouTube guy. He might have been on like UK Star, some reality
What's his
show.
name again?
Sam Ryder. He comes out with his electric guitar and his baggy pants.
Okay.
He looked like he was in his pajamas.
Yeah, he did.
And he starts rocking out this song. It's like, and I was actually thinking at first he was going to start playing Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time I've ever heard someone with electric guitar do an anthem.
He looks like Kid Rock in his prime as well.
The best part about it was Dan Cole's face.
Yeah.
He was trying to hold it together because he wanted to laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was the most...
It was cringy.
It had to be the cringiest thing I've seen in sports, at least all year, and at least in the last few years. It was so cringe.
Yeah. And I do this thing recently, right? When I'm in the gym, I'll sometimes put like a stand-up comedy on my YouTube or whatever. And if I laugh, it saps me, right? I'm like, oh, let's get pumped. I'm going to do a thing. And if I chuckle, I'm going to crush myself with a bar here, right? Like, laughing removes the fire from you
It
because you're all
does.
serious and pumped up. If you laugh at something, just saps that adrenaline immediately. Good thing both teams are in the English Premiership, because if this was the national anthem versus another country, you just ruined your team's success rate there by making them all cringe.
Another shocking thing. So I looked up this Sam Ryder guy,
Yeah. I've never heard of him.
and he's a great singer, like a fantastic. He's got like this high. Do you know what a falsetto voice
Yes,
is? Like
I
a
do.
really high pitched voice.
Yeah.
He's got this really nice falsetto voice,
Yeah.
and
They
I was
wasted-
like, why?
yeah.
Why didn't you use that?
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
didn't you use his nice voice? Why
Yeah.
did he come out and play the electric? It's just fucking.
Yeah.
You know what? Good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them for giving me that moment.
It's like hiring a stand-up comedian to do tap dancing for you. It's like, what? It's a
like-
waste of their talents. But it's just-
No, I can also tap dance too. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you can?
yeah.
I guess you know what? Fuck it. We'll just let you do that instead. Really? Yeah. Screw
Sure.
the performance. We'll just
Yeah.
have you do that
Yeah.
for fucking
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Just on Wikipedia now, and it says Sam Ryder is noted for his wide vocal range. The use of vibrato and falsetto has garnered critical acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even let him fucking sing.
No.
What a waste of fucking time.
Also, why would you want to waste a good voice on "God Save the King"?
I don't know. I usually mute it.
It's the worst national anthem in rugby.
Yeah.
It's the least. Like, how you supposed to pump yourself up?
Yeah. AI generated songs. Don't need them. Yeah.
You know
No,
what's nice about rugby though is that how they don't do the anthem
Hmm.
before every single fucking match.
Unless they are now.
Well, at championship games they do,
Okay.
but
Oh, in the regular season.
in the regular season they don't. And I really like that they can just get straight to the game.
Yeah.
Like here in North America, every
Oh,
game,
you're right. I
every
know what you're talking
match,
about.
anything we're
Yeah.
doing a national anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys about to eat some hot dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, Canada. You gotta wait like the 2 minutes
Yeah.
so you can eat your fucking hot dog.
Hot dog's getting
Like,
cold
fuck,
here.
I just want to eat my hot dog.
and I've
I
got to
don't want to like,
respectfully hold my hand over my heart.
yeah.
While my hot dog's in my hand.
Yeah, it's like I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a special moment. It's just a fucking game.
I do feel like that about, this is very off track, but the way North American culture makes a big deal out of fucking everything, even the vocabulary, everything's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's hilarious. Like, it just, when you actually come around to an experience that is one of those things, it's like that doesn't mean anything anymore. If you sing the anthem every time you stand up, it's like my anthem is now meaningless, you know?
All right,
So-
babe, I'm about to go get some milk. I'll be right back.
Canada. Ruined it.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck, what the hell?
Stop sapping the energy out of this song.
Oh,
Yeah.
sing and you see. Just
Yeah.
taking a shit, babe. I'll be right
Yeah,
back. Like,
yeah. And what I love about rugby and UK sports, I guess, is that the crowd sings it, right?
mhm.
And especially in Wales, like sometimes it's like 50,000 people are in a fucking voice.
Mm.
It's beautiful. But the more you get a guy to sing it, to lead the song, the more it ruins it, right?
Yeah.
Like we have got a stadium with its acoustics designed for 50,000 people singing. Let's fucking let them have a go at it, you know?
Sometimes it works out. Remember when that kid sang the Irish anthem?
That was cute. That was cute. That was a
And he
nice
rocked
touch.
it?
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, but you know, it should
Remember
be.
the
It should
children's
be.
choirs from the World Cup?
They weren't terrible. It was cute, you know. But like, there's, don't do, if something works, doesn't mean you have to do it again. That was a nice thing. Do it again in 6 years, you know.
Now, God Save the King, performed by Little Ben with his recorder.
Oh,
Yes, the Prem, Bath won.
They did. How do you feel about Bath winning? Predictable a bit.
No, I thought this game was. I didn't think that this was a shoe-in for Bath.
Mm.
I thought Bath was the better team.
They've done the Wish.com double as well. They've got the Challenge Cup
Yes.
and the Prem Championship.
Yes.
You know, it's like having a gold and a silver
A good
medal.
year. A good year for Bath.
It is a great
a
year.
good year for Bath.
Yeah,
Good on them.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Leicester, their team on paper is way better than they are. This game was close for how I thought Leicester had a lot of the bad side of the calls.
yeah, and
They
the
fought-
territory and possession were
yeah.
very Bathy.
Yes.
You know?
So good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them, Bath. We didn't cover the Prem much this year.
No. We covered it a lot last year because it was very fun to watch. It was
Yes.
less fun to. It was less competitive this year overall, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot more one-sided lashings. There was some teams that kind of fell
Yeah.
off the wayside. Saracens finally died.
Yeah, they did. It took a while. Yeah.
It took a while, but they fucking killed him.
Yeah.
He's like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies.
Just
Like,
keep coming back. Yeah.
boil him, blow him
Yeah.
up, set him on fire. Just
Yeah.
keeps coming back.
They did the Freddy Krueger crossover and killed him with Bath.
The other game of the weekend,
Yeah.
the URC final.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
If it was I wanted Leinster to win this game,
Yeah, you did.
right? I didn't want the South African team to win this game.
Okay.
Now a South African team can win it next year. But
Well, they have the Stormers have won it.
I don't have anything against the South African teams. I
No.
just didn't want them coming in and rolling the league, and then it just turns into whichever South African team wins.
If they'd have done that, it would have felt like them leaving Super Rugby to come to the URC was a bit like a prize fighter dropping a weight class.
Yes.
You know, and I'm glad that's not the case.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's proving that it's hard up here in the north.
Yes.
It's hard up in the north. It's hard.
In
It's
some
hard
parts of it, it's hard.
In some parts
Not
of it.
all parts.
But if you were a Leinster fan, you probably love the game.
Oh yeah.
If you're a neutral or not a Leinster, if you're not a Leinster fan, you hate this game.
Yeah. I'm not
and
a
you're
Leinster
sour,
fan.
and you're sour about this game.
Yeah.
If you're neutral, this wasn't a very good final.
That's where I live right now.
And I think you have every right to feel that way.
Yeah, it was boring.
But who's to blame?
South Africa and Jake White and the Bulls specifically.
The Bulls.
Yeah, they had a responsibility to make a game out of this. Yes. They did. They had a real responsibility to, after the season they've had, to make this game more competitive. They didn't really fire a shot. Leinster's defense is stunning, right? Actually, maybe their strongest asset, which people maybe don't talk about as much as having someone like Jordie Barrett who's got a really slick attack. Their defense, and as you said, their maul defense, every facet of the defense makes other teams look bad. They just really know how to pin. Their kicking game and their defense is excellent, right?
Yeah.
They just will play exactly where they want to play on the field, and they'll put pressure on you so they get the ball back pretty quickly. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. But on the flip side, the Bulls didn't show up.
The Bulls didn't show up.
Yeah.
The Bulls had a relatively pretty healthy team.
Yeah.
The Leinster lost a handful of players that should have been on this team sheet.
Yeah.
They had a very disjointed week.
Yeah.
They didn't have Jameson Gibson Parkinson's.
They didn't.
Hugo Keenan wasn't there.
No, he wasn't.
Kalen Doris was out.
Yeah, that's a big loss. That's huge.
Who did I say? Kalen Doris, Tyke Furlong, not there.
Yeah.
That's 4 players out of the starting 15
Yeah.
that are very important players on that team.
They're very important players in the global game. They're world class.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Robbie Henshaw, Kieran Frawley, not even in the team.
Yeah. I don't consider those two as important. I think Robbie Henshaw's he's aging, and I think Kieran Frawley just isn't as good as the guys ahead of him. But no, other than that, though, I definitely agree. This isn't the strongest Leinster side available. But what I was telling you earlier, we've been criticising Leinster because when they rest players, they go into games undercooked. This is the game where, because they'd rested the right players at the right time, they went in fresh and fit. They looked a lot fitter than the Bulls.
I just don't.
This time it worked.
I just don't like the Bulls. It's so strange. It's just what did they get there yesterday?
Yeah.
Did they get there the day before the game and they had to rush and
Feels like that.
Because I don't understand. What was the preparation? How did they looked out of it?
Yeah.
And they're a huge physical team.
Yeah.
A very talented team.
Yeah.
This should have been a way closer match.
The problem for me as well
In fact,
was
I thought the Bulls were going to win this. I was for sure the Bulls were going to win this game.
I wasn't as confident, but I thought they could definitely do it. I thought they could, and Leinster are choke artists, right? This doesn't, for me, this doesn't get the monkey off their back. It doesn't get that label off their back. They've still lost far too many semi-finals and finals for this one win and considering their season and how dominant they are, this still doesn't convince me that they'll go back to back next year.
No. So you're right. I agree with you.
The Bulls need, and it's because of the Bulls in a lot of ways, really. They could have won this game. The problem for me with the Bulls was their strategy was, we're a physical team, our identity is a physical team. Their plan was just from 9 Podder runners, from 9 Podder runners, and it
Yes.
just didn't
And
work.
they kept doing
yeah,
it.
they didn't. Where was Willie LaRue doing his sweet playmaker tricks?
They
You know,
just like would not use the backs.
no.
If they would have took this game, like anyone that beats Ireland or fuck
It's the same guys.
Leinster, anyone who beats Leinster, if you look at the last times they've lost, they have gone out wide.
Yeah,
They've brought the game out wide.
yeah.
Like the key example is what's his nuts, that Northampton kid, Henry Pollock on
Yeah.
the side,
Yeah,
running down,
yeah,
score and try.
yeah.
Like that was the blueprint on beating Leinster. These guys did not do it at all.
No.
It was almost like arrogant.
It was arrogant. I also think they were like playing to they planned their game plan too much around what Leinster can do instead of what the Bulls can do. You know, sometimes you're so intimidated by a team, you focus too much on what they do instead of what you do well. And
Yeah.
the Bulls are physical, but that was their plan. It's like we need to outmuscle them. That's the only way to beat them. But
I
you're
fe-
right.
well-
It's not the blueprint.
I bet you 100%. Like the Bulls, the team thought they could,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
what happens was they played their cards wrong.
Yeah.
And so Leinster the whole time were like, they're gonna come at us in
Yeah.
the front.
They planned for it, didn't
So
they?
and they planned for it.
yeah.
Leinster the Bulls just didn't give a fuck about the Leinster weaknesses.
No.
They just thought, we'll fucking bulldoze
Yeah.
through the center
Yeah.
and win this game.
Nice pun.
Yeah, and I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, you did good there. Yeah.
So it's just
It's sad. Sad.
yeah. It should have been a better game, but they just would not. They just couldn't go to a game, another game plan. They couldn't change it up.
No.
They just kept forcing it over and over and over again. Like the doors are going to finally break down.
yeah.
And good on Leinster for sticking to it. That's a hard team to play.
It is, and to be fair,
Arguably the best team in the URC.
yeah, 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 they are. Yeah, well, Leinster are statistically, but Bulls should have. If you told me they play each other 10 times out of 10 in a neutral venue, I think it's about 50-50 in my mind.
I agree.
They're pretty evenly matched. Ryan Baird had an excellent game, and I've slagged him off a bit.
Well, everyone has. You're not the only one. The whole
Yeah.
world has
Yeah.
kind of even not Owen Farrell.
Andy
Andy Farrell. Like
Yeah.
everyone's kind of written him off.
Yeah.
And he had the game of his life.
He did. And we were talking about who should go on Alliance Tour instead of him. And we were naming all kinds of people. David Jenkins. And I love David Jenkins, but now I'm saying, oh, no, it's definitely Ryan Baird. Like, he's jumped that pecking order,
Do you think they were trying to play a forwards heavy game, trying to keep attacking Sam Prendergast's channel? And then-
they had to have talked about that.
but
They
those
had to.
forwards were
Yeah.
not letting it happen.
They just hid him well, didn't they? They hid him pretty well,
Yeah, like
and,
he's
Sam Prendergast had a good game, actually.
yeah, he wasn't like there was nothing special. Like he just did his job.
But he needed to have a game where he almost did his job and didn't get noticed.
Yes.
For better or for worse.
Yes.
He can just be a solid 10, right?
And he did that. He
Yeah, he
did that.
did.
He did his job.
Yeah.
He didn't. He got ran over a few times, which I was happy for him.
I mean, every 10 gets run over a few
Yeah,
times in the game.
that's what you should do, like
that's
Finn
a normal
Russell,
game. It's a normal 10 game.
Marcus Smith.
Yeah, that's
They
going to
get
happen.
run over, but
Yeah.
that's doing their job. They
Right.
slowed that guy down enough.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
else can make that tackle.
Exactly.
You're not tackling a prop.
Yeah, yeah.
So he did his job.
He did.
Yeah, Ryan Baird, I was very happy with it. There was a lot of guys that stepped up. Luke McGrath.
Yeah,
Is that his name? Yeah, Luke McGrath. Game. What a game.
yeah,
He's a guy that keeps getting overlooked.
yeah,
Even for the Irish squad,
yeah.
I even overlook him. No one really talks about him.
There's enough injuries in the Irish team now that a few of these guys are finally going to have their chance this summer as well, I think.
I was really happy. Even that little kid, they brought in some other kid, Finton Gunn.
Finton Gunn.
Yeah, as a backup 9. He scores a try.
It's also a detective from
He
a
wasn't even
1950s
supposed to be
comic
there.
book.
He's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. He scores a try. I was like, oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know who's going to, and another person I'm excited about in Leinster team too is this Thomas Clarkson guy, this tight head. He's looking better and better and better every time I see him.
Finally, eh?
Something to
Finally, some prop depth.
Yeah, I really wish he wasn't on. Wasn't playing for Leinster. I wish he was somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's good to see, because if you look at Tyke Furlong, he is fucking.
He might be. Oh, is he done? Is he done?
I feel like he might be. No,
He's going through his calcification period, isn't he?
We talked about this. This is
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So he's going to get injured a bunch for the next
Yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah.
And then by the time the World Cup comes around, he's going to be like all calcified,
Yeah.
and he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to get into his Dan Cole era.
His third phase of evolution, like a Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah, it comes
And
out like a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah.
Never gets injured
and
again.
he'll just be like he's you turn into the perfect prop.
Yeah, yeah. Where your joints just calcify. You can't move, but you don't need to. You just hit things.
And then the Bulls, fuck, like this. There was just nothing special about any
There
of these
really
guys.
wasn't, was there? There really
Yeah.
wasn't anything special about him. And you know, I was talking about traveling too as well. Like they've got that sign, the height in Pretoria matters. Like these guys can't handle a bit of fucking rain. Apparently, like they're just
No.
none of them travel
And
well. Like
before the game, Jake White was saying he's like, yeah, I was praying for rain today. So they wanted this forward
they
matchup.
wanted a dirty, grindy
He's like,
forward
I
game.
was praying for rain, and
Yeah.
it fucking melted them.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, man. When you look at the fucking team the Bulls have, like, you know that Wilco Lowe, their tight head prop,
Yeah.
he's huge.
Yeah.
Like everything about him is thick.
Yeah.
Like he's the definition of fucking thick. Who's that fucking big prop for France?
Cyril Bay?
No.
I don't know.
Taifun. He's like the big tight head for France. Come on. Use your book learning. You always save me when I forget names.
I
Yeah.
know who you mean. Abbas? No.
He's like, he plays for La Rochelle.
I know who you mean. See him in my head. He's a fucking monster. It's
The
embarrassing
big,
me.
like Samoan or Tongan dude.
We're gonna have to move on. I've forgotten.
Yeah.
But I know who you
I
mean.
think Wilco Lowe is fucking bigger than him.
Yeah.
He's fucking a giant.
Yeah. I've heard so many people talk about when, you know, a lot of these YouTube guys who are part of commentary and they'll see the Bulls warming up and they'll just say things like they look at a different species to the other team. That's like their dimensions man for man are just bigger, you know?
And this is like that Marcel Coetzee.
Yeah.
He's fucking just thick.
Yeah.
Just a big muscle unit. Like these
Yeah.
guys look scary.
They
I would
do.
not. I would cry if I had to play against these guys.
Yeah. So not only are Leinster brave,
They're
but
just brave.
they can control a game impeccably. But yeah, other than that, like, you know, you can tell you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not the most enthusiastic about this final, or to be honest, the URC has, like I was saying to you earlier, Jake White said Leo Cullen said after the game, this is a difficult league to win. And I disagree. I think there's 5 or 6 teams who are always in contention, and they're the South African teams, Munster, Leinster, Glasgow, sometimes Edinburgh. But there's about half of that league, no chance winning the league.
If it was the same team winning the whole, because the URC is only 4 seasons old.
Yeah.
If it was the same team winning the whole time,
Yeah.
I would agree with it. I would agree with you. But since it's been a different team the whole time,
Yeah.
that shows how competitive the league is.
I think
And it's not easy to win, because if it was easy to win, the same team, Leinster would just win it every year.
what I'm saying is it's not that those 4 or 5 teams don't make the top end of the league competitive, but it's almost like there's 2 different leagues here, right? Because there's a lot of half the league.
This league is split in half.
That's what I'm saying.
But every league's kind of split in half.
I think
You got the guys that are going to win, and you got the other half that they're not going to win.
the URC and Super Rugby feel a lot more like that than the English and the French leagues, you know, for me. And
I'd argue with the top 14, like those, there's like the 4 big spenders,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are going to go to the top, and the rest are kind of like scraping by.
Whoever shows up with the bag of money at the start of the season is doing pretty well in France.
The Premiership, I would say, is probably the most competitive rugby league.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
in the world.
Yeah, definitely. And even Super Rugby this year was more. Now the Crusaders aren't the team they used to be. At least it's more open, right?
Yeah, but you're still looking at a league of which Kiwi team's going to win.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Which is exactly the same situation as this year again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like, I'm not even blaming the top guy. Like, I never expect other teams to get worse. And I have been a proponent of the salary cap, but it wouldn't work in the URC right now, because what you're saying is you want us to play with the same playing budget as the Dragons. That's not fair.
You're gonna be
fair.
all about no salary cap once they turn Cardiff into a Leinster.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna be
100%.
like, salary caps are stupid.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But do you know what I mean? Like, I don't
If they
expect.
sign Evan Etzebeth
Yeah.
and shit to Cardiff, you're gonna be like, well, fucking,
Yeah.
you know,
Dragons can fucking do
salary
one.
caps really don't make a difference.
They will in 20 years. We need
Well,
one in the URC in 20 years. But right now, I don't expect Leinster to drop down to the level of Dragons in terms of playing budget. I don't expect that.
I think the way the URC is set up, and since South Africa is in the league, a salary cap would benefit South Africa the most.
It would benefit France better because everyone would just go and play in France.
Yes,
Everyone would just leave.
They would all go to France. They would also
Because
the amount of talent, the talent pool in South Africa, how it's revolving.
Yeah.
They always have a top tier player who's going to be cheap as fuck because he's just coming through.
Yeah.
The other nations do not have that flow.
Counterpoint to that, though, the Sharks are the Springboks, and they are not near their potential, right?
No.
They're not near their potential. So we know that having a full team of internationals doesn't necessarily make you a good team. And even Leinster, that's true for Leinster a lot of the time, right? It's only this game that is the exception to the rule in the last 4 years for them. And I do actually hope they kick on because we need a league where the standard is fucking high. And we need a league where someone is flying the flag in Europe, right?
Yeah.
That the fact that there was a French team and an English team in the final of the Champions Cup is not a good look for the URC generally, right? We should be up there.
Yeah. When it comes to the Champions Cup in Europe, like Leinster have been in like the last 6,
Yeah.
like out of the last like 7 finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looks pretty good for the URC.
It does, but it's only one team doing that, right?
Yes.
If it was 4 or 5 teams, I'd have a different...
Yeah, if it was like a different URC team, yeah I agree with
If
you.
it was an all URC final in the Champions Cup, that's the day I'll go best league TM. But right now...
But it shows you don't need a lot of money to like get to the top. Look at Northampton.
Yeah.
They were the 3rd lowest spending team in the Prem to go to the championship, and they went to the Championship Cup final.
Yeah, almost against the
Championship
Championship Cup final, yeah.
Back to this game.
Yeah.
Jake White.
Yeah, he said some things, didn't he?
Jake White
kind of make himself look like a bit of a salty boy at the end.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand, this is what he says. You have to understand this is not a normal rugby team, he said of Leinster.
Yeah.
We are naive when I made a note in my book. They are 19-0 up, and they bring in R.G. Snyman.
I love how he phrases it like he's made some insightful cutting comment, and it's like, we need to do this. It's like, what, your insightful comment is they have a very good lock that they've imported. Like, that's your insightful comment. Like,
he goes on to say, it's just a different league altogether. And that's why Leinster supporters are probably so disappointed, because they were waiting for that performance the whole year. And we just happened to get the 40 minutes that they were waiting for the whole year.
We just happened to have really bad luck, and our bad luck was playing like ass. But like, there's nothing insightful about what he said. You played badly. He came across as salty, and he tried to do it in such a way that made it look like he was trying to pay Leinster a really underhanded compliment. If I was as smart as them and I had all this money, that's what I'd be doing. It's like, yeah, we know what you're saying, mate. We know what you're saying.
End quote. The lesson I've taken from that is we need more international players to play for our province. We need what Leinster have. We need to be able to fight fire with fire. Well, last week or the week before, you beat the Sharks.
Yeah. Who are an international team.
Yeah, that was loaded with Springboks.
Yeah. It doesn't track, does it?
No.
Nothing about what you said sounded humble or genuinely insightful.
Yeah. Also, this is Leinster's first URC final.
Yeah.
They haven't made it to the final yet.
No.
This is their first final.
Yeah. And the season Leinster and the Bulls had, both of you were walking into that final, right? You should fucking show up, right? You had everything you needed in every other game this season, and apparently you didn't this year, right? You've actually beaten Leinster this season, right? There's no excuse.
It's just so sour.
Yeah.
We keep banging on the same drum. I've coached some of the best players in the world, players who have won Player of the Year twice. If you're playing against 23 internationals, I think today Leinster were short with only 22. There is a complete difference. That's a phenomenal provincial team. That must be the best Leinster team. I know it's going to be a headline, but that must be one of the best Leinster squads they've ever seen. And they had a handful of guys out.
Yeah.
It
is still one of the best club teams ever assembled. because Geordie Barrett had a fucking game.
Well, Jake White beat them. Didn't he beat them last year?
No, he beat them this season.
Yeah, I know, but in the semifinal last year, he beat them.
Mm.
He beat he beat a fully loaded team.
Yeah, nothing about what he said made any sense to me because it was like
no, he didn't beat a fully loaded team. That's where they like fucking sent a B squad down to the Bulls.
I don't like
lost.
this idea. If you've got the money to have an A, B, and C team, you don't get an excuse, right? They beat them fair and square last year, but that makes Jake White look bad, not Leinster look bad, because he's talking as if he made some big mistake here. He put out his best team, who are very capable, and they didn't play well. That's as simple as that for me. There's nothing insightful about it here. Leinster played really well. I want to say something nice about the Bulls, to be honest, because Jake White's comments made the Bulls look worse
How about
than the performance.
In the last 3, or I think maybe even every single URC final has had a South African team in it.
Yeah. But to be fair to him, I don't think he's talking about South Africa generally. He is just talking about the Bulls.
Yes, but to say that, like, he's trying to give that like Leinster like have this like international player advantage.
Yeah.
But the history of the URC doesn't show that.
No, it doesn't.
Right? It doesn't prove his point.
Doesn't. No, there's
right?
nothing insightful about what he said.
Right?
For me.
So it's just kind of like he's making this thing up, and yeah, on paper Leinster should win every year.
Yeah.
But that's not how rugby works.
No, it's not. Clearly, it's not. Like, we've got evidence. This season we've got evidence of that.
Yeah. So it's
I think if he was going to say something insightful, it would have been about their game plan for me, right? Because their game plan was one-dimensional. It catered too much to Leinster's strengths, and it felt kind of naive. You're playing in Croke Park, and there's a lot of historical significance there, but you're not playing in Dublin, which would have been a greater advantage for me. Leinster still have quote-unquote home advantage, but this isn't in their backyard, right? They're still...
And then we're talking about like travel as an issue.
Yeah.
But you're talking about teams that have been playing in Super Rugby for like 20 years.
Yeah.
That's awful travel.
That is genuinely going east.
Completely different time zones.
Is jet lag central.
Jet lag central. Like at least you're traveling, you're in the same time zone, roughly, within an hour or two.
Yeah. I don't understand why they don't travel well. And the worst thing is for them, even Welsh teams have gone to South Africa and taken scalps. They proved that wrong.
Yeah.
They've gone to what should be a harder place to travel to. And then the Bulls come here, they can't handle a bit of fucking rain. Like, it doesn't track, does it? So, I'm still trying to say something nice about the Bulls here because they're, I don't know.
I'm just mad that they just didn't show up to perform. They should have put on a better game. Maybe not one.
Yeah.
But now, what would you say if this game was played in South Africa? Do you think this is a different story?
Yeah, it's a different story. Definitely, it's a different story. I still don't know if they'd win with that performance.
Are South African teams turning into French teams? They just can't get up for away games?
I think they were doing that before the French teams, arguably. Like, they're not good travelers,
Because in the last few years, in the last 5 or 6 years, when the South Africa was still in the Super Rugby, they were doing pretty bad. But before that, there was the Lions. There was the Lions era. Yeah. The Lions were winning it every other year.
Well, the Bulls won Super Rugby one year as well.
Yeah. So these teams were winning these championships in these awful traveling condition leagues.
Yeah. What's changed?
What has changed? I just think the straight up story of the Bulls. They just didn't get out of bed this morning.
Yeah, that
morning.
That's it. There's no
ifs, ands, or buts. It's like Leinster had a good game plan.
Yeah.
And I think the Bulls were just arrogant in theirs.
Yeah.
And they got out-coached.
Weren't motivated. Yeah.
Jake White.
Yeah, he's trying to deflect all these bullets, isn't he?
He is, because he knows this is kind of his fault.
Yeah, it is.
He's got the talent.
Yeah, he does.
He's got the size.
Yeah.
He's got the talent to win this game.
Yeah.
And he coached a bad game.
What is good about South African teams when they play well is we're going to play this one style of rugby. What are you going to do about it? And often people can't do anything about it because they are that fucking physical. And that's what they try to do. As you said, arrogance. They try to just play their one plan A game style, and it just didn't work. And they didn't have a plan B.
I think you're exactly right. That is a South African thing. We're going to play our style because we're better than you at it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard as fuck, right? And sometimes you love it because they just do one thing, but they do it so much better. There's nothing you can do about it, right?
And I think there's a couple, you said something that's kind of opened up a little Pandora's box here, because the teams internationally are getting better.
Yeah.
right? So South Africa can't, teams in general, even the Springboks can't do that anymore. And you could see how Razzie has Razzie is a genius
Yeah, he is.
because you've seen how he's noticed this and he's seen how the Springboks are kind of changing how they play,
Yeah.
how they're trying to open up their attack.
Yeah.
He's noticed this.
Yeah, he has.
He's noticed we can't just be arrogant. We can't just be this bully team that just rolls over teams.
Yeah.
Because these teams are getting better and better and better too.
Yeah. And a good team sticks to what they're good at
Yeah.
and adds things on.
That's-
And Leinster and Ireland have done that. Leinster and Ireland were historically not the best at having a plan B, at having a wider game plan. Now, Leinster and Ireland are an all-court team. They've taken what they were good at and just added things onto it. And what Razzie was good at, and still is good at, is they took away New Zealand being the innovators of rugby. They were like, no, now we decide what the meta in rugby is. And what they would do is they'd kick those high ball, they'd do a box kick. It would only travel about 20 meters and they'd just compete for it. Right? They would just put pressure on you, turn defense into attack. But now they've seen the results over the last year. This must be the highest scoring results league season in the URC, the Gallagher Prem, the top 14. People are scoring tries again. Tries are back, right? They are so back. And South Africa, as a team, are adapting to it, but the Bulls haven't. The Bulls are stuck in
Jake White's still stuck in
2019 World Cup South Africa era,
that's what's
right?
happening. He's not because Razzie's already 2 years ago. He's already noticed this.
Yeah.
And you could see by his coaching setup how he brought that Kiwi guy in. I forget his name. He's like that really good attack coach.
Yeah.
You could see, and you can see the style of because the Springboks weren't as good last year.
Yeah.
Well, they
By their own standards.
yes,
But you're right.
because they were trying. They're trying to expand their game.
Yeah.
And Razzie's putting in the building blocks and just guaranteed by the time 2027 comes around,
Oh, he'll be ready.
they're going to be ready.
Yeah.
And he's built this he's a genius,
He is.
right?
Yeah.
When you look at it,
Yeah.
and there's a difference. When you see someone like Jake White talk,
Yeah.
he's trying to throw blame.
He sounds like Warren Gatlin, doesn't he?
He does.
At the end of Warren Gatlin's Wales tenure, he sounds just making excuses.
You gotta,
it's all about they've got more money than us. I wrote it down in my notebook. Oh, very well done. That's insightful. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah, sad. But he's I'm disappointed. I've slagged the Bulls off a lot here. I'm trying to think of something nice to say, but I'm more disappointed because I want the URC to be good. And I have overcome my disdain for South Africans being here. The last year or two, they have convinced me. Everything's competitive. They have added something to the league. We've lost the ability as local fans, which I'm not, to travel to away games as easily. But the quality of competition has improved and we have a bet. We're the most advertised league because we have a worldwide fan base now. That's great. So the South Africans have earned their place here, definitely. That's why this needed to be a good game. That's why this had to be a good game, a competitive game. Now, all of Leinster's cruising through the season makes the league look bad because they've just cruised the whole season and they've cruised the final, right? Now we don't look competitive anymore. And that is actually more the Bulls' fault.
they lost the Scarlets
And the Bulls, though.
and the Bulls. So
Yeah. Anyway.
So how do you summarize the URC this year?
Predictable.
Predictable.
Yeah. Predictable.
I would summarize it as
Evolving.
there was a few shocks in this season.
Yeah.
The Sharks, I thought were going to be way better than they were going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they were going to win the league.
Yeah.
I thought no one was going to beat them,
Yeah.
and they really underperformed.
Yeah.
Glasgow kind of fell off a cliff.
They had a little, very late, they were falling, and then they had that late end of season quarterfinal win, and we all thought, oh, they're back, and then no. As soon as Tuipulotu came back, I thought, okay, Glasgow are here again, and then absolutely got trounced.
Connacht are a mess. Ulster are a mess.
Yeah.
Munster are they can't execute, they're missing a couple pieces in their team.
I would say Munster in transition though, firing their successful coach was a bit of a head scratcher, but they'll be back.
The drama in in Wales, even though there was some improvement there this year.
Well, every team except the Dragons did better than they did last year.
Yes.
And Cardiff went from 4 wins to, I think, 8 wins, way less losing bonus points, which is a good thing in this case. Ospreys, with signing Mark Jones, they will get better. They've got a good squad. And Scarlet's almost, I don't think anyone expected them to be in the playoffs. And to be there on their own merit, not through other results not going their way, like they fought their way up there. So we're always going to have drama in Wales, and we're not going to be good again for 5 years. But again, it's another inch forward. So we'll be all right.
Edinburgh has to like kind of take a look in the mirror.
Edinburgh have the potential. Edinburgh have Glasgow's ceiling, you know?
Yes.
And Glasgow they do have a ceiling because they don't have the money and the resources, but they proved you can win this league with that ceiling. Edinburgh have that potential. They just don't live up to it.
And Italy is Italy.
Italy, to be fair, and I've slagged Italy off so much. Benetton are a genuine team.
And Zeebrugge came to just ruin everyone's party.
Zeebrugge took some fucking scalps. This was
like the last season.
This was a good year for Italian teams. It was a good year for them. And the Italian national side are getting better, right? They're inching forward. And we all need that. We all need that. France is still the Northern Hemisphere flag wavers right now. Good for them. But
I would like to see the Italian teams leave the URC and go into the top 14.
It would make more sense, wouldn't it? Geographically.
It would just make more sense for them to be in that area.
Yeah, it would.
So that's what I would want to see.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think the URC this year was kind of bit of a roller coaster. Yeah. I will say it's still, you are right when you say it's still in its early phase. 4 years, there's a lot of time to get things right. Because last week we weren't saying Leinster are going to steamroll this game.
We were not.
We both were saying Leinster were going to lose.
Yeah, we were, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's not... Yeah, so it's like
there's a lot of positives. I'm not upset about everything overall. I just think it was a bit predictable in the end, but I'm putting that down to the Bulls kind of just not showing up more than Leinster being the great team that they are.
But guess what?
What's that?
Now we're getting into big dick rugby summer.
Yeah, we don't get a break, do we?
No.
In a good way.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
Lions.
Argentina.
Genuinely,
this is the game I'm most excited for this year.
It's going to be great.
Year. Yeah.
Like right next week. Even on Saturday, they got the England 15 versus France 15. I'm excited for that too.
Oh, I didn't know
Who's
about that.
Who's going to be on that team?
Bunch of people.
Just a bunch of people.
Yeah, bunch of French and English
like
people.
We are getting it's going on. The Lions go next week. After that, they play the Western Force.
Yeah.
South Africa Barbarians after that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the weekend after.
We are really into it, aren't we?
Yeah.
Straight away.
The next weekend after that, the third weekend.
Yeah.
In the beginning of July there.
Yeah.
We got the Maori All Blacks versus Scotland.
Yeah.
Japan versus Wales.
Oh, don't.
Here we go.
Why am I nervous about that?
And New Zealand versus France.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not France were allowed to take
they don't know yet. We don't know what's going on.
But I don't think DuPont's not going. He's too injured.
No, he's still in rehab.
Yeah.
But depending on the team that they take,
they're going to take a good team.
This could be a really spicy fucking. I'm going to be watching it regardless because I think they're going to try to take the best they can.
Yeah. And
I think France has a very deep talent pool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the first game of this New Zealand France. Yeah. Man, the shitty thing is it's going to be early in the morning.
Yeah. Let's go back to next weekend, though, because I do want to get your thoughts a bit more on Argentina Lions, because I'm genuinely very excited for this game.
I am 100% convinced Argentina is going to shock the Lions in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is a bad warm-up game.
It's too high stakes for a warm-up game, isn't it?
Just to start off the whole campaign on a loss, I think is going to be... It's just not a good look.
Another thing is, I remember 2013, last Australia Lions tour, the Lions went to Hong Kong first and they played the Barbarians, right?
Yeah.
And it almost felt like a friendly, like it was a fun game.
Yeah.
No one was trying to kill each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lions won pretty convincingly. It was hot and humid, but all the Barbarians guys are having a laugh. They're trying to do crazy passes and stuff, what you expect from the Barbarians. And it was a nice way to sort of build some fun. Everyone's having a good time to bond that Lions team. Argentina are going to want to take some fucking heads off in this game.
Yes.
They are going to be so motivated. It's too high stakes to throw in a team who are admittedly all world-class players, but haven't had a lot of time together at all.
Because this is the first time... Because I don't think they tour Argentina, do they, the Lions?
No.
So, which I think is a little insulting.
Yeah.
But So yeah, I think this might be the first time they're playing. I'm unsure.
I know that I think they played the Argentina before.
Yeah.
I don't think they've toured. I could be wrong, but
But
this is in Dublin. This could go one or two ways. Either it will be a hell of a game, Argentina win, and it just wakes those Lions players up and they go, this is a serious fucking tour now. And immediately they're galvanized to go on and do well.
Mhm.
Or they get some injuries, they get kind of battered because Argentina is so up for this game and it sets the tour off on the bad foot. And you're right, it's kind of disrespectful to Argentina because they're good enough to deserve a mid-season game, mid-tour game, or even a tour in itself. I wouldn't say a tour in itself because they're inconsistent enough that you would always say the Lions would win that tour, but they definitely deserve a bit more than a first-out warm-up game. And Argentina are going to take that as motivation, I think. They're going to be like, we need to win this game, right? We need to keep announcing that we're here to the world. And everyone loves them, but they still have a point to prove, right? Because they are it's effectively a warm-up game here. So they're going to have a big point to prove. And this is a kind of an injury worry for the Lions as well because they are not going to go... They're not going to play nicely, you know? They're going to want to win this. It's going to be physical. So I'm excited, though. I really want to see this game.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
My leg is completely falling asleep the way I was sitting.
I
Oh
got
my
too
god!
excited about it. Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll see. I guess for the rest of the tour, I think this could sort of make it go one or two ways. And there's a few, the French final. I think we should kind of touch upon. So you've got next weekend Bordeaux and Toulon.
What?
Yeah. Well, not Toulouse, not
No.
quite, but semi-final Bordeaux Toulon. As you said, this league goes on until
This is the semifinals.
semi-final. Yeah, top 14
So-
semi-final next week.
Bordeaux,
Toulon.
Toulon.
Yeah.
So hopefully Bordeaux lose, free up some players for the France team.
Yeah,
What's the other team? What's the other game?
Toulouse and Bayonne. Yeah. Yeah. So big
So
games.
we need Bayonne and Toulon to win
Yeah.
to free up some French players.
Yeah. To free up BLBRA
Mm-hmm.
so he can go and show those New Zealanders what for.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want him to show Will Jordan and the gang what wingers should be doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. And the way they use BLBRA is very All Blacksy. He's allowed free. He's a Damien McKenzie, right? You just put him on the field. What position am I? You do whatever you want today, mate.
mhm.
You want to be a prop? You be a prop, right? You just jump in that scrum. You give her. Like, I just love the freedom they give. It's almost like they don't play with a game plan. Obviously they do, but
If
it just
they-
feels like it. They don't, you know?
If they don't bring an A squad, they don't bring their best team, which they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. It's still a good experience to bring some really talented guys that
Yeah.
you haven't really seen in the French squad
Yeah.
go up against top tier talent.
Yeah.
Like this is as hard. This is harder. The France going to New Zealand
Yeah.
to play them is harder. Is a way harder task than what the Lions have.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Like I would even say by a significant amount.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more you're right, because you don't ever go to New Zealand and not take it seriously. Like, they are and they'll definitely put out their best team, New Zealand. Like,
And New Zealand has some things to prove against France.
they do.
And you know what? They're mad. They're mad because they aren't going to get the best France.
Yeah.
So even if they do win, which I think they will,
Yeah.
they still won't have that. Well, you didn't really beat France.
Yeah. We
know?
sent a B team. Yeah, because the narrative has changed. I think New Zealand may be a feeling like the spotlight isn't on them like it normally is. Because remember last summer when the big tour was Ireland going to South Africa, this was billed as the two best teams in the world. In fact, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about who is the best team in the world, and it was definitely either Ireland or South Africa. And when England went to New Zealand, New Zealand won, and they were good games, but we weren't talking about that as if this is the thing you should be watching this weekend, right?
No.
So New Zealand almost need to put in a statement win to go, you need to take us fucking seriously again. I don't think they're that self-conscious, actually. I don't think they feel that.
I think to keep the mystique, every time New Zealand go up and play France,
Yeah,
they should just put out a
B team.
B team
Yeah.
too, and just never play them full strength.
Yeah, unless it's a World Cup.
Unless it's a World Cup, just
Yeah.
don't ever play them full strength. Just don't ever give them the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even then, like, there's, I don't think there's such thing as a fucking B squad for. I don't think there's New Zealand doesn't have a B squad.
No, they don't.
They honestly, it's the only nation in the world that does not have a B squad.
No.
I think they can send
South
out
Africa.
They can send out a third tier
Yeah.
and still win a World Cup.
Yeah. And even if they're not the best player in the world, they're definitely one of the most skillful players in their position on any given day.
And a player
aren't
that
they?
would make any other international team.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Not-
even the Maori All Blacks they put out, every one of those guys would make any other international side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what the team looks like yet. I
Yeah.
don't know. South Africa is like not the same.
We'll see. We'll see because I think
They can't just put out a third string team.
I think we'll see because what Rassie's obviously doing is building depth and building players who can play in different positions. That's his innovation right now. Is using guys in different positions so that the backs transition to the forwards and vice versa really smoothly, so that he gets that attack as well as his physicality. But they're not known for it, are they? You couldn't say comfortably that South Africa's B team would beat New Zealand's B team, right? Or anyone else. But yeah, exciting summer ahead.
Exciting summer.
Yeah.
And I think we've just talked about everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, feels like I was trying to make an analogy. I've just remembered I was sat here thinking about a film, The Princess Bride. Remember that film? Of course you do. You know how
Yeah, I'm 40 years old. Of course I remember that movie.
you know how we were talking about France never send their A team, New Zealand never send their A team, and then Cary Grant's having that sword fight right at the start, and they're both killing it, and and then one of them goes, "Yeah, but I'm not left-handed." Ah, neither am I. So when we get to the World Cup, that's when they both get out their right-hand sword, right? That's what I'm excited for. So this is building a story nicely for the next World Cup. Anyway, I'll stop wittering because we're in the transition period. We're free falling now until next weekend.
And you have Wales that's going on a little cruisy trip to Japan.
I'm actually scared to talk about it. I'm actually worried.
I think they should pick. I think they should take a bunch of randoms.
That's how I want to finish this. Is I want you to comfort me. I want you to tell me reasons why Wales are going to win a
I
game
want them
against
to
Japan.
take a bunch of. I really want they should really take this tour to find some new talent
Yeah,
to really explore with the team, explore their bodies.
yeah.
Like I want them to get together, explore their bodies,
We're not in
explore
our-
themselves spiritually.
We're not in our university bisexual phase though. Like we have to win a game. This is the end of year exams, right? We are not allowed to experiment with drugs and guys in university right now. We
Dude,
have to win a game.
I
of
sucked a
rugby.
dick. I didn't like it, but I tried it.
Yeah. We're not in sucking a dick to find out if you like it territory here, Like we are in you have to win a game. This is your medical examination final test, right? We have lost 17 games on the bounce.
I don't think this is I in my eyes, this is not a must win for Wales.
It is.
I think this is a must explore. Explore
Okay.
your bodies.
It's too late. It's too late for that.
I want Wales to explore their bodies in this tour. Find out who they are. Find out who's who.
Yeah.
They don't need to take anyone significant.
Yeah.
They just need to, really
Yeah.
discover themselves. Take some time for yourselves.
I was looking at the squad we're taking though. It is every one of those players I thought is a good player. And now we're free of Warren Gatland and we have Matt Sherratt.
Is Matt Sherratt?
He's the interim head coach.
So he's taking them?
He's taking them.
Oh,
and he's
so taking this job.
And he's
the
taken
new
Danny
Wales.
Wilson as well. Harlequin's guy who historically coached Cardiff. He's taken Lee Halfpenny for a laugh.
Is Chocolate Monster in there?
Chocolate Monster, Adam Jones.
Yes.
I believe he is. Yeah.
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 So this is gonna be a good trip. I'm really excited for them.
It sounds fun.
It does
fun.
Sounds
But
fun.
the Welsh public don't want fun. They want dirty wins over Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Like and share the podcast. Frank, look at our YouTube comments once in a while.
Okay. Why?
Get
Have we got some?
engaged. We always get we have one or two every week.
Oh.
People commenting, people are talking about us, like millions.
Millions of people are talking about us.
Yeah, millions and millions and millions.
Wow.
You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Send us a question because Levi69 Blazer used to send us questions.
Yeah.
And I saw him last week and he
Hasn't sent us a question.
he asked me a question in real life and that's no fun.
Yeah. All right, friends. Have a good one.
Okay. See ya.